I always thought that watchmaking is not about brands, it's about an ecosystem.
Welcome back to my YouTube channel Lux Insider with Anita Khatri, and today I have with me none other than the great Manuel Emch. Now Manuel is somebody whom I know since more than 2 decades, almost 2
True?
decades,
Almost 3, yeah?
almost 3, but yes. And I have seen this man who's a maker of brands, how he has grown some brands, how he has taken them to a next level. It's so interesting and impressive, also very inspirational for me to understand what is it that he does. He gets it correct and he gets it right. I'm going to talk to him today. What made him, to go. Of course, it's a passion. I understand it's a passion for the brands, but what more that he has got in him, which has helped some of the independent brands to grow. And maybe 1 or 2 stories he can share with us. So over to Manuel. Thank you, Manuel,
Thank you for
for
having
giving
me.
us time.
Sorry
Uh,
for being almost semi-dead after 4 days of Dubai Watch Week, but the days are so intense that I think I can't even feel my body anymore, but that's okay.
what is on your list today? Is it Louis Erard?
Well, it's actually my two babies. Today is a purple day, for whatever reason. I decided that Saturdays are purple days, so I have Kollokium Project 1 variant F with the purple and the Lichtblock ceramic and SLN sticks that we applied. There's 488 of them applied on the dial. And on the other hand, I just have the latest drop of Louis R, which is a collaboration with Konstantin Shaikin, Frog. This is the purple frog. We have the green and purple frog. And
You pronounce it as Louis R.
Louis Erard.
Louis Erard, right? I
Yeah.
called it Louis Erard. I'm wrong then. Louis Erard.
No, because in French you never say the last letter. So it's not Louis, it's Louis. Erard. It's not Erard. It's
Okay.
Erard.
Erard.
Anyway.
Okay.
But somehow.
So tell us the story about Louis Erard, because it's so intriguing. Not only Louis Erard, because now you have a collaboration with Shaken. I am very happy that such a collaboration, but you could tell us a little bit more what went into this collaboration and how do you decide that this is a brand that you should be investing in?
Well, look, when I took over Louis, what's it now, 6 years. I took over a brand that lost its soul, but that had very interesting logic. So I found this brand. Investors called me and said, "Look, we have this brand. It's not doing very well. Do you think we can do something with it to make it successful?" I said, "Sure." Worked on a strategy for them. And so I did the strategy. Actually, initially was a consultant and working for different brands. So I did the strategy for them, and then they said, "Okay, great, but who's implementing the strategy?" And I said, "Nah, I'm not sure I want to do that." I ended up doing it. That's why I'm sitting here today. But I think what I really liked about Louis R is it was a brand that basically, well, aside of the fact that it's almost 100 years old and that it has a certain heritage, is also a brand that was very successful with the concept in the early 2000s of kind of most affordable mechanical Swiss watch, which made them grow very quickly in the 2000s. But then obviously when you have a strategy or when you have an USP which is only based on price, you have competition is not sleeping. And very quickly a lot of the bigger brands, group brands, corporate brands if you like, or volume brands said, "Oh, there's this new agile independent brand that is taking a lot of market share. Let's counterattack by being even more affordable." And instead of understanding that Louis R was not about concrete but abstract values, was probably what made them lost. And I came in with this idea to say, okay, let's go back to the roots. Let's work again on what is the fundamentals of this brand, which is on one side the regulator, historically this movement, but also the fact of offering values of haute horlogerie, values of Swiss watchmaking, but at a price point that was pretty unprecedented. So I worked around this, I would say, strategy of giving values of haute horlogerie. And what are values of haute horlogerie? There are a lot about people, because for me, haute horlogerie is a lot about people. It's a lot about crafts. It's a lot about kind of abstract values. And yeah, and then one of the very important elements in the strategy is collaborations. I mean, I think by now I have that kind of over reputation to be the king of collaborations. I've done so many in my career, but I like that. And collaborations I do are based on what I like. That's very egoistically. And in this particular case, people I like. And I met Konstantin Chaikin for the first time in 2018. Actually, I saw him before. Obviously, I discovered his work when he was even before the Joker that made him very successful. But I was back then rebuilding Raketa in Russia. I was the chairman of this company for a few years until the war. And by being very often in Russia, I obviously brought in a lot of journalists to visit. And I always thought that watchmaking is not about brands, it's about an ecosystem.
It is about the ecosystem.
The ecosystem. It's not just brand by brand, and you see it here in Dubai Watch Week. It's the accumulation of different actors that creates the environment. And often, unfortunately, we believe that we competitive or competitors, which I think is a mistake. We should be much more together. We should be much more mutualizing to help building. And I helped Chaiking a lot at the beginning, just out of friendship, just out of appreciation for what he did. I brought him a lot of journalists. I opened a lot of doors for him. I opened a lot of retailers. I told him to go to this fair or that fair. And after probably after 3 years, he said, "Okay, you've done so much for me. What can I do for you?" And I said, "Well, when you're ready, let's do a collaboration." And we started that collaboration, which is very successful, probably one of our most successful, with Silberstein and Vianney Halter. And after a while, so we did these few collaborations. And in general, I don't like to do the same things over and over again. So we did 4 different editions on the time meter plus the tourbillon. And then I said, okay, enough. Let's do something else. And it's actually him who came back to me saying, "Look, I would like you to help me because I have nothing to sell. I have a lot of demand. I have back orders for 2, 3, 4 years. Are you willing to redo a collaboration with me that I'm also able to sell? I'm also able to sell to some of my clients?" And that's how the frog started, the idea of the frog. And I said, "Sure, but I'm not wanting to do the same. I want something totally different, new case." And we did back and forth for maybe a year and a half before we decided on the design. And then things went pretty smooth, but it took another 18 months before getting the watch to market.
Fabulous. But you were called king of collaborations. So which other collaborations that you can name few?
I can start, I've done, let me say, I can't even remember. So Silberstein, Vianney Halter, Chaikin, Kudoke, Goss, Cedric Joner in watchmakers. Sylvie Fleury, Olivier Mosse, John Armleder in the past for contemporary artists, Atelier for architects. And then in the ecosystem of watchmaking, what I call it, I've done things with Second, Masena Lab, and a few others with Horophile, which is a partner with me on Kollokium. And if it comes to more iconic pop art, which we just launched our new sports watch, integrated steel bracelet, the 2340 on Louis R. And the first collaboration where we go into more iconic, less humans, more iconic pop culture, if you like, collaborations. But the first I did is Astro Boy, which is my hero of childhood. And why Astro Boy? Because we live in a world of AI and robotization, and a lot of people are afraid of that. So as a kind of homage, I took a robot, which is more human than a human. I thought it was a nice little clin d'oeil to the reality of today. But I've done collaborations in the past, far long before everybody else, with Batman, with Super Mario, with Pokemon, Tetris, who else? Donkey Kong,
all this
Spider-Man.
Louis era, right?
That was Roman Jerome time.
Roman Jerome time. Okay.
So I like that. I think a watch is an emotional object, and I think you can convey a lot of emotions through collaborations. I see myself in Louis
No,
as
that's so correct. What you're saying is that the backbone or the DNA of a collaboration is very emotional.
absolutely, because you connect with people. I
Hmm.
mean, for me, Louis is what is the strength of Louis? The strength of Louis is to make extremely well executed, very qualitative, extremely high-end qualitative pieces at very affordable price points. I think this is our biggest strength. And people look at us and always, the whole watch industry, when they come to me, say, "How are you able to produce so good quality at that price?" I think this is one of the magics of Louis. But then again, the collaborations, the emotions that you bring into the watch, they kind of elevate to something more artistic than just a commercial good, is, I would say, easier to achieve through collaborations. Why? Because if I do a collaboration with Astro Boy, my client, he maybe remembers that he was young and he was reading his Astro Boys, and it is a kind of regressive moment where he associates the watch with positive emotions immediately. And I think these, I wouldn't say that collaborations are shortcuts because they're often very complex, but they are able to convey much more emotions than a watch which is extremely nicely executed, but it's just a watch.
Well, thank you. That's
Pleasure.
really brilliant. Thank you so much.